Rebel Canners, teaching all kinds of food preservation, including the old ways. Hey, welcome back, Rebel Canners. So today I am going to water glass eggs. I was happy I found a little ad and it said $1 a dozen farm fresh eggs. So it was Facebook Marketplace, I guess. So I texted her, do you have any that haven't been refrigerated and haven't been washed yet? And she's like, well, yeah. I'm like, how many? And she's like, 9 dozen. I'm like, I'll take them all. Every one of them. I love farm fresh eggs. I love the brown eggs. Not that it really shell color matters, but you know, sometimes I love the pretty eggs, okay? I like the pretty eggs. And so, like this beautiful buff one. Oh, so pretty. So we put some of them in the incubator because she does have a rooster. I have no idea. I forgot to ask her what breed of chickens she had. So it'll be, you know, a surprise. We're only looking for farmyard mix anyway, so it doesn't really matter so much. But I am going to show you how to water glass them. I want to do some pickled egg recipes, and I want to do some water glassing so that I can teach you. It's not something I do very often. I don't routinely, I haven't kept my own chickens in several years, since before I started the channel, so I haven't had a chance to do it. It's really hard. Everybody wants to wash their eggs and wash the bacteria right into them. And so it's really hard to find good eggs that I can do this method with. And I prefer, myself, freshly laid, clean, unwashed eggs. So these eggs were like, she must like sweep her chicken coop every day, and they must only lay in freshly strawed nesting boxes. They were gorgeous. I couldn't have done better myself. And she had an overabundance, so she was selling them for $1 a dozen. I can't even buy them at the grocery store for $1 a dozen, so I took all 9, and I am happy. And we'll get some of them preserved a couple different ways for you. So here you go. I'm going to turn the camera around and show you what I'm doing today. Let's see, we can measure. I need 2 ounces. So let's see if I can measure that. All right, I've made a lovely mess here, but I have measured out my 2 ounces of pickling lime. It's not quite exact because I've got some spilled. That bag, it is getting transferred, because getting anything out of that bag, you cannot get a measuring cup or a measuring spoon in and out of that bag from Mrs. Wages. I'm putting that in a jar. So I've got this ready. I'm going to go ahead and get my water heated up so that I can dissolve my lime, and we are going to get ready to water glass these eggs. So I'll be back in a minute once I get the water. So while I'm waiting for the water, I have my glass gallon jar I got at the Amish hardware the other day. The lid I had to buy separately. Bought these. It was $8.95 for a case of 4, I think. And then had to buy the lids at 85 cents each. And I have my beautiful farm fresh, clean-ish, as clean as I could get them, eggs. I picked the cleanest ones I had. These have not been refrigerated. They have not been washed. They still have, I don't know if you can kind of see it on there, they still have the shine, the bloom to them. These have not had the bacteria washed into them. When you wash eggs, and I'm going to take a paper towel and I'm going to just kind of buff that a little bit with a paper towel and get those specks off. Put that off to the side. The rest of these I've already went over and they're pretty good. But you want eggs that have not been washed, still have the bloom on them, and have not been refrigerated. Those are the ones that are going to do best. Not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying I've always been told those are the ones that work best. So I'm going to just brush these lightly with a paper towel and make sure I get anything off that I can find that comes off easily now that they're dry. So I'm going to go ahead and add my 2 ounces of lime right into my jar. I'm going to mix this up right here in my jar. I want to get the water warm. I'm boiling over here. I want to get it warm, but I don't want to get it too hot. I'll have to let it cool before I put the eggs in. The goal is not to cook the eggs. It's just to get it warm enough that you can dissolve the lime. Okay? Just warm enough that you can dissolve the lime. So I got my eggs all buffed with a paper towel. They're ready. And while we're waiting, one more thing to discuss on eggs. Let me grab this one. It's a beauty. So when you have an egg, see the round end here, pointy end here? For longer storage, store pointy end down in your egg cartons. Pointy end down. They'll come every which way, even your store-bought eggs from the store. But when you're putting them away yourself and want them to store longer, pointy end down. So there's a helpful little hint for you. Pointy end down. And I don't think I've mentioned it already, but I am going to do 2 quarts of water in here to start. And so that's why I wanted 2 ounces. It's 1 ounce of the pickling lime. And I just picked up Mrs. Wages because that's what I found when I was at Menards and I was doing some other shopping there. So grab that. It's 1 ounce of the pickling lime to every quart of water. And I'm going to do 2 and then see how it comes up with my eggs. I'll probably be adding some more eggs later and layering it where I add the other eggs and then mix up some more solution to put on top to make sure they're covered. So just waiting for our water to boil. And as they say, a watched pot never boils. Yeah, watched pot never boils. So you can see I've got my water in here. It's a little too hot. Can't put the eggs in for a while. But I measured 8 cups. And of course it's halfway here, almost halfway. So I'm going to go ahead and just stir this and make sure I get as much of the lime, and it will settle over time. It will separate back out a little bit, but as much as I can into the water solution. And I'm going to let this cool off before I put my eggs over there into it, because you can see it's still steaming. But we have dissolved it into the liquid. It looks almost like milk at this point. All the powder off the bottom. So it's pretty good. I'm just going to let it sit, and I'll be back here as soon as it's not steaming, because it is not my intention to cook the eggs until I use them. So we'll let everything cool off, and then we will put the eggs into the solution. You can see it's already starting to settle and separate a little bit, and it will do that. That's okay. You just want to get as much as you can into the liquid. And I'm going to stir it again before I start putting the eggs in. But it has got to cool off just a bit. Okay, so here we go. We'll be back in a few as soon as it has time to cool off. I don't want to make you sit here and watch me watch it steam. So we'll be back. All right, the liquid is cooled. I'm going to shake it up one more time. Lid off here. And I'm going to go ahead and put the eggs in. One at a time, slowly. Point side down. Tip it just a little bit to make it easier for me. Wash my hand when I get done, because this lime water is very hard on your hands. In there. Oh, and I have room for quite a few more eggs. So, like I said, I have a few more dozen at home. I just brought these for demonstration purposes today. There we go. Right, Holly, you want to zoom in on that so they can see the eggs in there? And that's how it's done. Go back out. Up to my face. All right, so I'm going to put a lid on. I'm going to store this in a cool, dark place at room temperature. These eggs will be good for anywhere between 8 months and 2 years. I'm not going to wait 2 years to use them, but they will keep that long. After a period of time, they're going to start to absorb some of that lime water, and then they'll taste more like lime, so they'll be better for baking than frying after about a year, but they're still safe and good to use. So thank you so much. See you in the next video. Have a good day, Rebel Canners.